So that's recording. Yeah, you really can't hear that.
You can really hear that. Yes, I was saying just wait.
People,
man.
let's start off with a
on
nice
your phone.
therapeutic listening to a kettle.
Yes.
For our British listeners.
For our British
For
listeners.
those with a tea fetish.
Wait, we have British listeners?
We will now.
We don't. According to the analytics, no.
According to what? Analytics.
Yeah.
So the two guys that listen to us are American.
Well, about more than a little over 50% of our audience is American.
Wow. Is that Tiff? Is that because of all the people you know, or is it probably?
Should I stop hating on them so bad? Or do they like that?
I don't know, I think they might like it. They may have gotten used to it.
Okay.
It's just
Please.
it's Australian to mess
America,
with people.
we hate you.
They might pop you, seriously.
They might what? Cool.
Pop you.
They might
I
pop
would
you.
be honoured
Aha.
if somebody travelled all the way from America to pop me.
How are they going to get a gun here?
To pop a cap in my ass.
That's true. No, I think Daniel's got a point. How would anyone get a gun here?
What do you mean gun control?
It's easier than you think.
Gun controller?
Gun controller.
I mean, can I just walk into Kmart and get a gun?
I kind of want a game controller that's just shaped like a gun, but you don't use it as a light gun. You use it as an actual controller. That'd be cool.
It's like the Resident Evil
randomly
4.
wonky shaped.
Did you ever see the Resident
The
Evil 4
chainsaw thing.
chainsaw
That
controller?
was ridiculous.
But that was cool.
I wanted one.
It was-
I would never have used it,
No,
but I definitely
you
wanted.
actually
No.
can't use it because the chainsaw gets in the way of the analog stick.
Yeah,
You
it's
physically
impossible.
can't
It is a
use
nightmare to do
It's
it.
not just hard to use; it's actually
impossible.
broken.
Oh. See, I still want one. I would want one for collector's purposes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
my
yeah.
friend Ricardo had one.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
I was like, "Why aren't you using that thing? If I had that thing, I would always be using that thing." And then he's like, "Yeah, you can't."
You can't. It's just impossible to use. Okay.
All right, well,
So,
welcome to
introductions.
episode something.
This is
Of
like what, our seventh, eighth?
Seventh, I think. Seventh or eighth podcast.
I don't remember a time when we weren't doing them.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to keep it going because our first one was Circle Kick, our second one was Cake, our third one was Couch Day, our fourth one was PSA,
Yeah.
and our fifth one, what was one after PSA?
Batman vs Superman.
Batman
Oh
versus
no,
Superman.
sorry, that was number
That was
4.
PSA.
Batman vs was number 4. PSA was 5, and then we had another one.
Doom versus Ghostbusters.
Doom versus Ghostbusters.
That's number 6. So this is 7.
Yes. So, after
Welcome.
we've pretty
We
much
now talk about all
fought-
the other ones.
yeah. Now, so after we've kind of
Don't forget
Had
to go
a-
listen to our other
expressed
podcasts.
our beef with certain things like Ghostbusters and all that stuff, it is finally time to have a beef with the internet.
The entire internet.
The entire internet.
Why was I not told about this beforehand? I have no beef with. Okay, I have beef with people,
You can
just
be
not
pro.
with the
You
internet.
can be pro internet.
Yeah, you can be pro internet.
You should have told me about this before. It's like, today, Fab, we are gonna shit on the internet. It's like, oh, okay, why?
I think that he got the idea when I bring it up.
He did.
I
did.
think he had nothing before then.
You had
You would-
nothing.
you had
I had
nothing.
a few
Came into
things.
this podcast
I
with shit.
had a few ideas, but I think I might save that for a different podcast because this one's a
a
lot
big one.
better. Yeah, this one's a lot better.
Okay,
All right,
I just want to.
internet.
Now,
I want to sit back and
let's-
see where this
let's-
goes.
Let's start off by saying the internet does a lot of good things for people, and
Yes.
in no way do I want to get rid of the internet.
Oh wait, I know what you're
I
talking
just
about now.
want to get rid of the people on the internet.
Yeah.
Not so much the publishers
So it's not really-
and the website designers. Just social media is probably the big.
Hey.
There we go. All
Yeah.
right. No,
It's-
I want. I'm on board.
I'm-
I want to hear this. I'm interested now. I'm
Well,
intrigued.
settle yourselves down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give Aaron his lectern and
Let-
his notes, and
Yeah.
he's gonna give another
I've
speech.
always liked to think back to what everything was before social media.
So
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention specifics because I don't want to be the dick that spoils things for people who may have been able to avoid the internet
Yeah.
landmines.
Otherwise, you become
Yeah.
the thing
you
you
become
hate.
the thing you hate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But in the past few years, I have had a lot of shit ruined for me by the internet because there's no respect for the twists. A good twist should be kept to yourself and only in a room with the other person or on a fucking instant message when the person has said they've seen that film. You'll be like, what about that twist? And a good twist, you don't even have to go, which one? But in the past few years, like, everybody's raving about Game of Thrones. I honestly, I've watched the 5th season now, and I will not be watching the 6th because the internet is there on day one, summarizing what happened and telling you exactly what happens in the show. And certain characters, not only do I know how this plot point is resolved, I know what becomes from the resolution of this plot point and how that is resolved because of the internet. And it's not that exciting a show that with all the things spoiled, you can watch it.
I would have to say I was really lucky when it came to Game of Thrones because I had none of the good bits spoiled, and it wasn't until I caught up in the last year that everything started to get spoiled. Maybe because I wasn't paying attention, maybe because I would see the memes and I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't get it, because I had seen nothing. So the first 4 seasons for me, pristine, beautiful. Then the ending to season 5, I started to see 1 or 2 memes and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I kind of saw that coming. And then season 6, I had to keep on top of it. Like, the day
You have
it
to,
came
and
out.
it's not fair.
It's not. I agree with you. In fact, I had to stop following a lot of people on my Facebook feed specifically because of that.
And it wouldn't
Yeah.
be so bad. It's not, the memes aren't the worst part. They suck that they get around so quickly that you ruin things.
Not within an hour
The ones
of
that
the show
within-
being out.
piss me off
Yeah.
are the ones that just write the spoiler outright for the sake of being a dick.
Yeah.
There are people that'll
And
just
it's-
be like, blah 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 dies in the latest
Would-
episode. You're like, what did that gain you?
Would you consider YouTube to be social media?
Yeah, it is now.
All
Anyone
right,
can
because that's
post
one
on
big
it.
thing. Here's my where I stand in all this. As of now, even to this day, I have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Cool.
Mainly because I haven't really had time or stuff like that. And I know everyone fucking bitches and complains.
That's good, because
It's
I was
been out-
worried that bad mouthing on Game of Thrones would get me killed, but now not seeing one, they'll probably try and kill him.
But here's the thing. Yeah, like, come at me, jerks. But here's the thing. Despite the fact that I have not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones, I already know that
Half
Sean
of it.
Bean dies. I already know about the guy who gets dumped with the
So
gold.
much for not mentioning
I know.
specifics.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you
It's the
jerk.
first season,
It's the
though.
first season.
Yeah, I've known of a lot of things. Okay?
My general rule is if it's been around for a year after coming out on like home media for a year,
Yeah.
then it's free reign.
But yeah,
you didn't watch it. You
I've
weren't
alre-
excited enough to go out and buy it. But
Keep up with it,
me,
yeah.
I'm not avoiding it because I don't want to download it. I'm forced to download it illegally if I want to watch it because I don't want to get Foxtel just for that. Because Australia doesn't have any way to distribute this thing. What I've been doing every year as they come out, I buy the Blu-ray release and I watch them because I don't want to watch a shitty fucking downloaded copy. And the last season, there was no content in it for me because anything that happened had been spoiled by the internet.
Yeah. And again,
I agree with you there.
same thing with me. I
And
haven't
to
seen
be
a single
honest, that
episode,
season didn't have
and
a
I
whole
already
lot of
know about the like.
Probably know 90% of the storyline. And what'll happen?
Yeah,
What'll start
exactly.
happening to you, even if you haven't watched the show, because I've done this with other shows, right? As you start to know the show, your mind will go, "Oh, that meme."
That makes sense. Oh, that's the worst. Like I said, and I think that's
It'll
why
happen.
I was
You
so
don't know
lucky.
now. Like I thought it would be okay. I don't know the characters. What can they spoil for me? But then you're like, "Oh shit! I read that X blah 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 dies, and I know how."
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
see, again, for me, I think I was just so lucky because the first 4 seasons I got completely unscathed. And as far as season 5 goes, I only had the very last
But that was all that
episode.
happened. Everything
Yeah.
else was just a build up to that last
Season
episode.
5 was kind of wishy-washy. This last season has been great, and it's
I've
just,
no
it's
interest
just,
'cause
it's
I know the
disappointing.
whole plot
You
line.
know it's
Wait.
bad when, like me, myself, I barely
He
know
doesn't
half
even
the.
go on
I don't
social
even.
media that often.
I don't
No.
even go on social media that often, and I can still, like, tell you in great detail how some of these people in Game of Thrones died, who lives, who's dead.
Well,
Charles
like,
Dance gets
even
fucking
not-
arrowed in the toilet. Fucking all of it. I can
And as
tell you all this because of social media, for YouTube, and
as
all
a
that shit.
byproduct of the fact that that information is so easily available, even if you disconnect all social media, it will still be spoiled for you
Because
because
of other
people
people.
think it's okay
Word
to
of
just
mouth.
blurt it out because it's on the internet.
See, Tiff in particular, I feel sorry for her because the big twist at the end of season 5, someone literally, she was on her way home to watch that final episode with me. Someone said, "Oh yeah, when this happened," and she was just, "I just fucking told you I hadn't seen it." And they apologized, of course, but it's like
It's too late.
It's
it doesn't
too late.
matter. You can't, like, what about that kid that drops the egg and you're like, now say sorry to it? See,
Yeah,
it did jack
it
shit.
did jack shit. I know.
Best lesson of all time, kids.
I was going to mention, though, you did say that with social media, with the advent, I think it's also a changing in society. Because you mentioned, well, not so much on the podcast, but earlier today, you mentioned back in the days of
Star Wars, and
yeah,
Hitchcock.
Star Wars and
Oh,
Hitchcock,
yeah.
Dare say who the killer
there
was.
was a lot of respect there. But
Not even that. I'd say 90s. I mean,
I
like
still
when,
feel uncomfortable
when Usual
now
Suspects came
saying
out.
that
I
No
haven't
one-
seen the usual
no one
suspects.
said
I
shit.
want to
Don't
see
say
that.
shit still.
I want to
Yeah,
see
exactly.
But like, I still feel uncomfortable in public now saying that Luke and Darth Vader is Luke's father. I still feel uncomfortable now, and that's a 30-year-old twist. Because I have respect for the cinema-going experience. I don't want people to have things spoiled for them.
I want to make a really valid point, though. Okay, this is no offense to anyone who either watches our show or uses social media in general, but I believe with the advent of social media, it has provided a way for the lowest common denominator to access more information, which is a good and bad thing. Okay, because people who would normally be completely uneducated in a lot of stuff now know. But on the other side, let's be real, people in the 50s who used to go and watch movies, they were of a different class. They were, they had a different mentality. Whereas these days, again, maybe society has changed that much. That people think differently. There's no, it's not sacred anymore.
Let's put it this way.
know?
Now, if a movie comes out, like say Deadpool or something like that, you have people going there watching it like a bunch of times. Like I've known someone who's watched it 5 times in the cinemas.
I've seen it once
but
and I loved it.
back in the 40s, going to the cinemas, going to the movies, it was an event.
Exactly, you
It
took
was-
the
They
whole
could put
family
the
out
same
there.
movie on a year later and people would run to it because I never got a
Yeah.
chance to see that when it
It's
came out.
it's
There's
like
no
an
media.
extravaganza.
You know what? That's the thing. The accessibility of media is another thing. It wasn't as easily or readily accessible back then. It was like reading a
Dumb
good
idiots
fucking
couldn't
book.
afford it. And that was all it was. Make movies more expensive and less accessible.
Back in the days where if someone was talking through the movie, they get thrown out.
Yeah,
To me, that's why
it's disrespectful.
I really want that back.
over the last
would,
5
wouldn't you?
years,
Oh my
over
god.
the last 5 years, I've thrown so much of myself into gaming and gaming stories because gamers are slightly more respectful about the story.
I
Yes.
was actually
There's
gonna,
there's huge twists in games that I still will not say out aloud because it is quite possible for somebody to take 2 years to catch up on their games.
let's take Tiff as an example.
Yo.
She
Yeah.
only just finished Half-Life 2 this year, so she only just got to that ending, and now she understands why everyone wants Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would never fucking
on
ruin.
the internet did I ever see that ending spoiled.
No, and apart from the Mojo
Never.
video, you never saw anything about KOTOR either.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like you were actively having to avoid it. It just wasn't there.
It just wasn't
People
there.
Don't do this.
So-
the only places you'll find the spoilers are like walkthroughs, when
Which
it's like
you're
okay.
looking for it. You have to
and most
get
of them
it.
even say, "Beware
Yeah.
See,
I don't
was
mind
glad.
the old days of those posts where it says "Beware spoiler,"
People
and then
don't
you
really
can
even
they
do
don't
that
do
anymore.
that anymore. It's
See,
right
they
there.
do it.
I'm
But-
so glad I played through all of Braid in its
Some-
entirety. I was this close to looking up a
haven't seen
walkthrough.
this.
Braid's the side-scrolling one where you got the time powers, you can reverse time,
Okay.
and anyway,
Good twist.
Well, yeah, the twist is fucking great at the end, but it's not about the twist. It's about the sense of accomplishment you get from doing the puzzles. There was one puzzle racking my brain, pissing me off. I pull up a guide thinking, all right, fuck, I'm going to do it. Very first paragraph, the guy goes, look, you can do this, but I would highly recommend you don't. You will get that much more out of it if you solve it on your own. Not even 30 minutes later, I solved the puzzle. I felt fucking amazing. I did the whole game on my own. And I
read a walkthrough once. I can't remember what game it was, but what he had was each section had 3 drop-down boxes.
Yeah.
The first drop-down box was a hint, because sometimes all you need is
It's just that
little
push.
fucking hint.
Exactly.
And then the second drop-down box was this is your objective. This is what you need to be doing.
And then the third one is blatantly
This is
saying,
how you
this is
fucking
how
do
you
it.
do it. Yeah.
And I thought that was
brilliant.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Because I was using that walkthrough all the time to save myself those hours where you're not even on the right track.
Yeah.
You're like trying to push the block into the wall, and they're like, "There's a door there, bro."
And let's be real. There are those moments
Yeah.
where
Brain fart moments.
Yeah.
yeah, not just brain fart moments, but you know, like those days you get home from work, you're exhausted, and you're like, I want to play something and I want to get into this, but I can't fucking focus. And normally, 9 times out of 10, you'd be like, yeah, I got that. That puzzle's solved. I know how to do this. But that one day, you just go, oh, fuck, I can't focus now.
You know what happens
just
to
wanna get
me
through
in
it.
games?
What?
And it probably happens to you too, because I guarantee you leave things and come back months later. the answer was so mind-numbingly easy if you had just been playing it the whole way through, because you've forgotten that he can do the double jump. Or something along those lines. You're like trying to make this jump, you're like, it's too high! And then somebody's like, just double jump the small edge. You're like, oh, fuck.
I
could do
still
that.
I still don't
And you just do it first go, you're like, oh,
I still
wasted
don't
two-
understand how you guys can pull that off. Like, the idea of
I can't come back to something months later.
starting a
anymore.
game, and then, like, whether it's halfway through it or towards the end or even...
It
like,
has
maybe
to
a
be
quarter
pretty
of it.
bad for me to leave it. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a great game and something I've really been waiting for has come out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to finish it, even no matter how good or shit it may be.
I'm like that. but
I have to do it.
I don't... That's almost my way of quitting a game, because I will never be, that game is so bad, I'll put it aside. Which is why I will never start Retribution Ride to Hell, because I will play that thing.
Oh no, Tiff's gonna get that for me for Christmas. I'm
Throw
pretty
it
sure.
off, info.
You have it?
I have it.
Oh
yeah,
shit!
I've seen you play it.
Oh shit! I've got to. I've got to get in on that now. I have to see how bad
you
this
started
is.
off angry at the glitches, and in the end, you're just like...
Okay, see, I will admit, when I was younger, I don't know whether I was more focused. I don't know if I've become less attentive over time, but I used to be able to play a game, start a game. I could have multiple games going at the same time within the same like week to fortnightly period. I could concentrate and finish all of them and I'd be great. Now, if I concentrate on more than one game for a time, something gets left behind and then I don't come back to it for months, and then I'm just like...
And if I try to
What the
play
fuck was
one
that?
game all the way through, I get a bit bored and my gaming slows down.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
I
Exactly.
need a happy medium, so I usually play 2 or 3 games at a time.
That's what I'm kind of getting
Just
to now.
to keep it fresh enough that if I don't feel like playing a first-person shooter tonight, I can jump on and play my hack and slash.
Yeah.
You know, I try
want
to keep the genre and the console different so that it's a bit refreshing.
I
But
found that the other day. I was completely deadlocked on my PS4 and I was like, I have nothing to do. I
Prim-
jumped on my
Primal-
Wii U and I was like, this is
yeah.
fun. I was like, yeah, and I got into it. And
a game called Primal, not Far Cry Primal, just Primal.
I remember that one from the PS2, yeah.
That was one of the final straws
Yeah.
in me playing whatever I felt like whenever I felt like, because I'd be halfway through 25 games. I got stuck for 3 hours in one session and 6 hours in another session.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally just all I had to do was, there was a little like context sensitive kind of button thing.
But you didn't
I
remember
just
how
had
to
to
do it?
stand on it and press the button, and I never stood on it because I didn't remember what it did because of how far I'd played it 8 months ago or some shit.
Mm.
And I'm like, that wasted 6 hours of my life.
Mhm.
When if I had been playing it through,
You would have gone all the way through.
and not to mention the hour I have to spend on Wikipedia trying to read far enough to recap the story, but not so
But
far
not
that
so
I
far that you
spoil it.
spoil it, yeah. Well, I've actually
Spoiler-free recap is what's needed on the internet, but
Spoiler-free
it kind of doesn't really exist.
It's like,
Doesn't really-
you know what? They need a smart system.
Whoever would write that would be the most stressed man in the world.
I've seen when you get
He'd be sweating for every
I
word
buy
he'd
a
be
lot of-
typing and just...
I buy a lot of DVDs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you buy a DVD, you can see the differences in some companies when you're watching multiple episodes on a disc, right? There's two things that people do, right? With some of them, they'll put in an image that almost fucking spoils the episode or does spoil the episode to make you remember that was what this episode was, right? But the good ones can do an image that's specific enough that you go, oh, that was that episode, but doesn't give anything away.
This is why
And
I've stopped
The other
reading
thing is the blurbs.
synopsis. Yeah,
the
that's what I was
fucking
going to say, the
When
blurbs.
you're trying to figure out where you're up to.
I don't read those anymore because Breaking Bad had that, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm up to episode... Oh, shit, no, I can't read that one because then I know something will be spoiled, you know?
You know what's even worse? Not only do blurbs do that, sometimes trailers do that too.
Surprisingly enough,
We've talked about this
yeah,
at
trailers are
great
spoiled.
fucking detail.
But surprisingly enough, one of the best blurbs, despite the fact that the internet spoils the fuck out of it, the Game of Thrones
They don't
blurbs
actually
are really,
ruin anything.
really good. They're just like, Cersei confronts her father, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
So you don't remember what happens, but then if you've seen it, you're like, I remember that.
See, that one I can go through, but
Tyrion visits the pub.
yeah, it's like, and then you go, oh, that's right, he gets shanked in the stomach at that point.
Jon
Oh, fuck
Snow
yeah, I remember
knows
that.
nothing.
Jon Snow knows nothing. Oh my god.
Yeah, and trailers have been pretty nasty at giving shit away.
How long has that been going on for, though?
A long time. I don't reckon they should be able to show anything from the last half hour of the movie in a trailer.
Which
I
is
agree.
Which is funny. How many trailers?
I agree. That is perfect.
How
That's
many
the bottom.
trailers have actually gone on and shown like the big chunk of their action is literally taken from the last 10 minutes?
To be honest,
the
I
Octagon
thought-
did that.
Not only
I
does-
thought Deadpool and I thought Civil War were going to be ruined by the trailer because
They
I
weren't.
thought they'd shown so much. But because they had so much content, they were able to show a small
Yeah.
snippet of it and still make the movie
And
look
it's
good.
not
And
just.
did-
If you
Didn't
have to feed
BVS
people the
suck
best
completely?
parts, yeah.
And it's not just action movies, because right now all we're mentioning is action
Dramas
movies.
and shit as well do it
Yeah,
so badly.
like the worst
All those
one.
romance stories where
I
you're like,
think-
well, I think I don't even need to watch the movie. I feel like I've just had the whole story summarized.
I think-
I even know who she chooses in the
I
end.
think the worst offender of this is Frost Nixon's trailer. Have any of you seen Frost Nixon?
I haven't seen Frost.
That's a real life event, though.
True, but
So a lot of the people going to see that film know the event.
But
and they
how
know
many
what
people
happened.
have
That'd
actually
be like
seen
saying,
that interview?
How dare they show me that Nazis were killed in World War II?
true, but exactly how many people do you think have seen that?
We had to watch it in school.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
know
seen the
nothing about it.
interview, but I did watch the
But
full-fledged
you would have heard
interview
quotes from it and
afterwards.
stuff. What they did is they generally used some of the famous quotes from the interview in their trailer.
Mm-hmm.
If the
Yeah.
president does it, it's not illegal.
That they had that in the trailer.
That is a famous clip, though, man.
True,
You
but
can't.
at the same time, a lot of people don't know that. We did, like, at the first
I guess
time,
it depends.
we did not know this.
It depends on your audience, really.
It
You got to
really
think.
depends
We're
on your
Australian,
audience.
right?
Yes.
Americans.
Would know
That was their first disgraced prime minister, fucking president.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big thing. That was all over the news. They teach that in school. They would have known that.
Would they teach that in American schools?
They teach Watergate
You know
in
what?
American schools.
I actually, you know what? Okay, I
'Cause
want
if
to-
anything, I'd like in schools, you'd kind of want to keep that
They-
as hush hush as you can.
They
Wait.
teach not to go into hysteria based on what the media tells you, because that was half of the problem. The economy almost fucking destroyed itself because people went into hysteria based on what they saw on the...
I actually want to bring up a
Ah.
point in regards to that, because this kind of touches on both of you. Like you said, people are taught about Watergate.
Don't touch both of us.
Don't.
Yeah.
I'll slap you both. You say people learn about Watergate, right? And you're talking about how people would have things spoiled for them, but again, I'm mentioning the audience. This is something really dumb I heard of recently. You guys saw the Nintendo E3 presentation, you know, where they were just the treehouse stuff?
Yep.
They...
What, treehouse stuff?
you know, instead of having a presence there, they just have a video and they have people playing the games and so on.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, regardless. They had a game, Paper Mario Color Splash, another one in the Paper Mario thing. Very funny. I normally don't like bringing up such Gamergated related things, but there's a point just in regards to this. What happened was they made a small joke in the Nintendo thing, and there were two screenshots that were taken side by side, and one of them was like there were 5 guys there, the you know, toadstools, the mushroom guys, and they one of the quotes was, "Oh my god, you know, this is going to ruin my career, #Shufflegate." This is what's interesting. The very first thought that came to my mind was, oh, okay, it's a Watergate reference because, you know, of the people that were arrested and so on.
Yeah.
No, Zoe Quinn, the one who was mainly threatened with all the gamergating shit, she immediately took it as a slur against her. And she took to Twitter straight away, basically saying, "Oh my god, Nintendo, what the fuck have I ever done to you?" And she took it as an insult. But this is what I'm getting at. Like you said, they're taught Watergate. Why would you not think your first thing is it a personal thing for her? And you, the whole audience thing. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like immediately you'd go, wait, this is meant to be something historically famous. Why would you automatically go for something else? Again, my only personal opinion is maybe she took it that way because it's something that personally happened to her. She took it the
It
wrong
may
way.
be a lot of things. It may be something she took it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she just didn't put 2 and 2 together. Maybe I don't know this person, but maybe she's just being self-centered, thinking that the world is against her.
You know what? A lot of people have said that. Some people have gone,
Maybe.
yeah. A lot of the
Again,
things I read.
do not know this person.
Me neither.
As far as I know, she might be all right, but this may it's a
what's the-
possibility.
Nintendo came. Hold on, I want to wrap this up. Nintendo then came out and said, "Oh no,
Who are you?
no,
Who are you and why are you whinging?
Sorry, we don't speak English.
No,
It's
no,
all
no.
Look, if you have a
Japanese for us.
complaint about a game, send us an email and we'll ignore it.
No, nothing that crass, because like I said, she was quite a big center of the Gamergate thing. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo will be smart enough to know about this. But they pretty much came out and go, no, this was actually a joke about American history. We in no way wanted to make any offense. We're sorry you took it that way. But it just really makes me think about how people take things, and especially what we're discussing with the social media and people getting things spoiled. And I think I'm siding with Aaron on this one. It's like, it's something popular, you know. You can't say
anything based on a true story.
There are literally two sides to this argument on
true, but like, say for example, the Alan Turing.
I'm actually going to jump ship and side with Daniel on this one.
Which is?
So it's just you on your side now.
Oh, fuck you guys.
I just thought of it like, okay, it's American history, but then you could almost spoil the Marvel movies by saying, well, that's what happens in the comic books. You could almost spoil the video game movies by being like, well, that's what happens in the video game.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, these things.
And
comics have been out there for a long time.
But this is a perfectly good dialogue. This is exactly what I was trying to get to.
Yes, like
your point about Game of Thrones, very valid. But then again, so is yours.
Perfect. I've just caught it when
Game of Thrones with the books.
No.
Lost it.
What's her name? The chick from Spider-Man. That good.
Scarlett Johansson.
No. You're
not even your
fucking. Sorry, I was thinking Avengers. My bad. Give me back my fucking cider.
So what we're saying,
Gwen Stacy.
We love Scarlett Johansson
in the second new Spider-Man movie. Well, I don't know what it's called.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. When Gwen Stacy dies. Now,
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, you knew that was coming
because.
But that comic book where she gets killed,
it's like 50 or 60 years old.
It's like very fucking long. So,
but Jen said it's so sad what happens to her, and that was all I needed.
But here's the thing. Yes, her getting killed was mentioned like 30 years ago in a comic book.
It's kind of.
But I have not read that comic book.
I haven't read it either, but it's comic
you'd
history.
assume that half of your audience hasn't seen this kind of stuff, because why are they going to watch a movie if they already know what happens?
If anything, having it in a movie not only generates a whole crap ton of money, but it also introduces Marvel comics to people who don't actually read comics.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even want to touch on this subject because I've been following a lot of the recent fucking scandals with Marvel Comics, with the whole Captain America being a Hydra agent. There's a new one now that apparently people are getting in an uproar. The new Iron Man is a 15-year-old black girl.
What?
I just read that 2 days ago.
And you can't complain without
Hold
being
on, is this confirmed or is this just some Tumblr feed?
It is literally their Marvel Now thing that they're doing.
How do they even explain? Like, I've seen it on the internet.
Man,
how the fuck would they even make it make sense that Captain America is Hydra?
Apparently, I've read up on that. It was mind control.
The admitting it or being the captain?
No. The second issue actually admits that he was being controlled by a cosmic cube who took the form of a girl who was being controlled by Red Skull.
Wow. What?
Yeah, exactly. just let it go, man. Just let it go.
Is he Hydra or is he not?
He's not Hydra.
Cool.
Okay. Essentially, this is how it happens.
Makes sense.
You know, I kind of feel like shit because I feel like I've spoiled it but then again, if you follow comics, you'll understand this. So, Red Skull had taken control of, I don't know what her name was, something the Cosmic Cube, who was in the form of a woman who implanted false memories in Cap to make him believe he was a Hydra agent. So he believed his whole life he'd been an undercover Hydra agent, but they'd only just been inceptionized into him recently.
Here's something that people need to understand, because I know that
if you're going to say the status quo thing, I've been saying that for months.
Here's the thing. I know that everyone blew up when they did the whole Captain America, Hydra thing, like, oh, how good you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I know.
Here's
I
one
see
thing.
The memes before I know what's actually happened. And I don't get this joke.
It's funny, the memes are the ones that make me look into it, because I'm like, what is this supposed to be spoofing? And then you find all this news and you're like, oh, you guys.
Spoiler alert, people. But here's the thing about it. I don't really read comics. Yeah. I'm, like, to be honest, I'm more down to these comic book characters through like the animated stories and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I don't really read comics. But even I understand that comic books have been doing this for a very long time. Mm-hmm. They have been changing shit up. Yeah. Because, well, when things go stale,
get stale, you change it to make it to sell.
You have to change it.
Yeah.
So
And what you were
when
writing,
everyone
what you
blew
were
up
writing
about
40
this-
years ago is not necessarily going to
Relevant
reach
today.
today's audiences. And
Exactly.
you got to find that middle ground to make it still the character you love, but in an environment that's contemporary.
yes,
Exactly. However, I personally think, and this is coming back to Aaron's social media thing, because one of the biggest complaints I'm seeing, again, not my personal opinion, just a lot of stuff, I tend to reiterate stuff I see. One of the things I saw is that people are getting really up in arms because a lot of people complaining about the recent spate of Marvel Comics, you know, the 15-year-old Black Iron Woman or Iron Man or whatever, the Nazi Captain America, is people who are more interested in social justice than actually buying the comics, and they have no interest in
No,
actually purchasing. They just want to complain
They've
about
taken
it.
something out of context, and we don't know how they got to
Yeah.
that point.
See,
It might
as
actually make sense.
The first thing that happened to me, I saw Captain America Hail Hydra, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't the first time I've seen this shit. I mean, it's not literally word for word, hey, I've seen Cap be a Nazi before, but I'm like,
They've hinted at him being a Nazi before.
Not just that, but it's like, dude, you know that in 6 months' time, it's gonna go back to the same thing. You're gonna get through a story arc of about 7 to 8 comics, and they've sold their run. People have been on the story going, oh, I need to know what goes on, and then it just changes back.
I wonder if all
Look,
these.
you know, one thing, Spider-Man. Okay, I personally was not a fan of the rebooted Spider-Man, which was basically where Doc Ock takes over his body. And what do? 24 issues later, 2 years afterwards, they bring Peter Parker back. Sorry for the spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I hated that particular arc. I was not a fan because it wasn't the Peter Parker I knew and loved, but it came back to the same thing. So why do people get their panties in a knot? And I remember reading something else where someone was just like, oh, you're just shitting on the legacy of someone. And I'm like, really?
I'm curious to see how many of these people who complained about, like, oh, you should
Actually read this.
actually read the comic books and how
To
are
me,
really deep
I
into
want
this.
to continue with that metaphor, shitting on the legacy. Maybe it's just fertilizer so you can grow something new.
Oh, that is nice.
I will pay
Good.
that. I will pay
I will
that.
drink to that.
I would, but I've finished
I've
it.
got
Fuck it.
PJs too, but I'll still drink to that.
No,
That
that's,
is
That
nice.
is a very valid point.
And then we get the social justice warriors complaining about fertilizer.
But
What's wrong with compost?
I don't think the social justice warriors will be able to watch anything we do. It's not social justice warrior friendly.
No, it's not. I think we should put a disclaimer up on the videos. just
Not
saying-
social justice
Not-
warrior friendly.
like, no.
Not
This is
justice wa-
thi-
no,
wait,
not
this
social
is not a
justice.
safe.
Trigger you.
This is not a safe space. I think
Yeah.
would be the best way to say it. No, because
Oh my God.
let's admit it. We talk about some pretty offensive things, and we have open opinions that could easily be taken out of context.
Oh yeah.
You know?
We've been friends for years, and we approach all the things you're not supposed to talk about.
Mainly,
Religion,
mainly because
Politics,
we like.
Aliens, fucking
Let's
name it.
Let's be
we
real.
talk about-
Mainly because we like to talk about current day events without having to worry about censoring ourselves.
Mm.
That's the way I've always seen it. I like to discuss what's going on in my world that I live in with the people I trust to a degree where I don't have to be worried about what I say. Aaron and I, we don't necessarily always agree on things. Like, look at the recent Zelda thing. You know, we didn't exactly come to blows on it, but we both have different
I've been
opinions.
there the whole time, man. You left and you're coming back and you're like, look, it's got a nose job. It's pretty now.
What do you mean I left? I've always played the
I
Zelda
stayed with
titles.
Zelda when it was ugly.
I was there. Don't you dare think that. All right.
Back in its 8-bit glory.
But you know what? I guess what I like about that is despite the fact that we disagree, we still come to some sort of, well, almost an agree to disagree kind of
Yeah.
thing. He may not necessarily like something about it. I may be optimistic. He
We-
may not like Overwatch, and I do.
And we
But
always
the
unite
point is,
against the common enemy,
yes.
Konami.
Yeah, fuck Konami. Do you remember when Konami was cool? I was actually watching a really cool top 10 video of some of the best games of the 90s, and God, Konami came up in so many of them, and it made me just a little bit heartbroken. Konami, like Silent Hill 2, was one of the best survival horrors ever. You know, and Turtles in Time, one of the best scrolling beat 'em ups I ever played, and I'm just like, Konami, I still love the Metal Gear Solid series, no matter what you've done. Fuck. Makes me sad.
Whatever.
What a depressing...
Fuck you, man.
Don't get me wrong. I cherish those games as well. I think we all do. But at the same time, it's like a really bad relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There were good parts, but at the same time, the bruises add up. It's time to bounce. And now, fucking Hideo Kojima's got his own goddamn company going.
With his fucking whale oil baby game.
Whale oil, invisible oil baby,
Handprint.
fucking Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus.
Crossbow.
Okay, I got
Floating dudes up in the sky.
No, I gotta say this. Okay, two things. Okay, these are just some funny things I saw.
With low roar, I'll keep coming. Which I love and I downloaded.
Okay, number one, my favorite post of this was, don't you just love it when you get all of this money from Sony and you get your best friend to do weird naked shit on camera for motion capture? That one, fucking loved that. But my favorite one was one of the explanations for the trailer. Because you know how the trailer made no fucking sense?
Nope.
Have you seen the Death Stranding trailer?
What?
The Hideo Kojima game that, you know, when Sony did their big, whoa, we've got Hideo Kojima back, he did his Death Stranding trailer with Norman Reedus
Do
holding
you know who
the...
Hideo
Oh,
Kojima is?
yeah, he's the
Alright, cool.
creator of Metal Gear
Gear.
Solid.
Yeah,
Cool.
And he did weird things with it and then left.
yeah. Okay, well,
And then came back and did
You
more
make it
ridiculous-
sound like he molested Metal Gear Solid.
not too
It
far
was
from
like-
the point I'm going to make.
It was like, there will be no Metal Gear Solid 5. And then he released Metal Gear Revengeance. Everyone was like, technically,
That
it's
was
not a Metal
Platinum,
Gear
it's
Solid.
not a Metal Gear game, yeah.
Technically, it's not Metal Gear Solid. And then he released Metal Gear Solid 5. And everyone was like, well, you're a blatant liar.
I still think Konami was the behind that because Keiji Inafune, he wanted to stop the Mega Man series at X5. What did Capcom do? They milked him for X6, X7, X8, the Zero series, the ZX series, and so on. And he wanted this. He goes, no, my saga, I want it to end here. But they kept milking it. And I think one of his quotes for one of the later games, like X6 or 7, he was just like, yeah, I just don't care anymore.
Mega Man X6. I just
Just
don't
don't
care
care
anymore.
anymore. Yeah, because
That should have been the title for Mighty Number 9.
Oh.
I just don't care anymore.
Is that related to the series or just
No,
No.
it's a spiritual
It-
successor. He basically he goes, I want
We
to
use
make...
that term very
Successor
loosely.
is a fancy word for a rip-off.
Hold on. Okay.
It is.
This
It
is something...
really is.
There's two things I want to say. I just want to finish off the Death Stranding thing so we don't
Yep.
stuck on it.
Is that the weird game that looks kind of like Last of Us but cheaper and nastier?
No, that's dead something or other. Fuck, I can't remember. It was the zombie game. It was the
That
zombie.
looked pretty
No.
Wasn't it Final Days?
Yeah, that looked,
End
I
of
don't
I don't know
End
something
of,
days.
End
Days
of
gone.
days.
Days gone.
End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting the devil. That's
Okay.
what it is.
Yes.
I would play that game.
I would love to be. I would play anything.
Shit, I just forgot one of the things. No,
Fucking quiet, boy.
no. What were we talking about before Death Stranding? Just a
Hideo
second ago.
Kojima, and he's
Hideo Kojima
And Mighty Number 9.
Mighty
Okay,
Number 9.
2 points I want to bring up. One is Mighty Number 9, so I'll get to that in a second, but the Death Stranding one. My favorite description for the trailer, because you know how when the trailer came out, everyone's like, what the fuck does this even mean? It's like
I
an
love
art
the
house
music.
piece.
Yep.
It basically said, one of my favorite ones is, Norman Reedus, okay, is the representation of Kojima. The baby is Metal Gear Solid. The fact that he loses it and it's gone is Konami taking it, and the 5 overlords in the sky is Sony giving him money for a new game.
Yes.
I want to watch this trailer.
That was the funniest thing I took away from E3.
Oh.
Alright, however, Mighty Number 9. I heard a lot of hate from it. I have a friend who is
I've
a
played it.
huge... I
Is it
played
any
it too.
good?
I think it's not as bad as people were giving it credit for. Don't you? I know you're
It
going.
could have been so much better.
Agreed. It's mediocre at best, but
All right, I gotta
everyone
admit,
is giving it
you
hatred.
gotta really stretch for the word mediocre for
No,
this game.
come on. It is
No,
not
I'm-
as shit as you think it is.
It
is
is.
mediocre.
It's- no,
I
no,
will say,
I'm not
it's
saying
got
it's-
a bad backstory.
It is not fucking the reincarnation of
No,
Damien.
It's.
But
I've
from
played
what-
worse games than this.
have
man.
you seen the Kickstarter videos for it?
I'm ignoring the back history. I'm looking at the game for what it is.
I
will
want
get to
that
you.
back history.
I
Give
will,
me that
I
goddamn
will
back
get to
history.
that back history, but I have seen the original videos. I have to admit, I would prefer it in the old 2D style. It doesn't look anything like it used to, but I was expecting the second coming of like Satan on this one. Anyway, he didn't come once. So, anyway, like you said, I was expecting Damien from The Omen on this. I was expecting pure, unadulterated evil. Someone let me try it the other day, and we remapped the controls to be classic Mega Man scheme, you know, shoot, jump, dash. It handles like an old Mega Man game. The story's bollocks, but then again, it hasn't... I think the story
He's
in
a
Mega Man
fan
game
of
hasn't been
Platinum
great.
games. He doesn't need story.
Yeah, exactly. I
He can watch
Don't
Platinum
get me
reenact.
wrong. Don't get me wrong, people. I love story in a video game, but it's not a necessity
But
if
if
the
it's
gameplay
Platinum,
makes
it
it
doesn't
better.
matter.
Yes, fuck it. Platinum is just good on their own.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit here and tell me that Bayonetta is fine dining.
You can watch
Bayonetta
Platinum,
is not Last of Us, man. Bayonetta
Platinum's
is fucking
next
great. Though.
game fucking marriage simulator and then you play it.
Hey,
hack and
if
slash.
I get to punch
I
on
would
at the
play
altar,
a
I would
simulator
play it.
Called Marriage Simulator if it has hack and slash.
If I get to punch on with people at the bar at the reception, I'm in. And
Wait, did
fucking
we just...
yeah.
Hang on a
I would-
second. Did we
We
just...
just give Platinum their next idea.
Did we just blow a multi-million-dollar idea?
Yeah.
Ah, shit, you're right.
No, edit it out. We'll make it.
Well, how about this? You have about a week and a half to make
Damn
this game, publish it before I upload this.
Get about 6 months.
No, we got to. No, it's okay. I don't have to publish it. We just have to get the patent on it.
All right, there you go.
Okay, good. It's done. But like I said, Mighty Number 9, I have played worse. The game handled well. Okay, not the best I've look. If we're talking on a scale of 1 to 10, really, at best it deserves a 6.5 because it's not great. But I've definitely played worse,
I don't
and
have
it
time
doesn't.
for a 6.5.
I'll give
I'm
it
only
four.
8s and above.
It really doesn't deserve as much hatred as it's
I'll
getting.
give it a solid 4.
when
If it makes you feel better.
No. Have you ever played Sonic 06?
No.
So,
Now that's a broken game. That's a broken game. This is nowhere near as broken.
Look, it
So
handles
it's-
like a Mega Man game. Yes.
It doesn't have the heart and soul. I'll give you that.
That is it.
It doesn't.
Mega Man
When
is
you pick
all
up the
heart and soul.
when
though.
you pick up the controller and you move around and after you reconfigure everything, which I think is ridiculous, then it feels like you're playing Mega
Mega
Man.
Man.
That's all it's got going for it. The story is shit. It looks fucking bland. Everyone's God. Yeah.
But it doesn't deserve the hatred. I mean, I reckon at best it
I don't.
deserves.
I agree with you. It doesn't deserve the
deserves
hatred.
a meh at best. Like a
Mainly
eh.
because the people who are
It's not
hating
great.
this haven't really played that many Mega Man games.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Maybe
I
they
grew
didn't
up on the
reconfigure the
first three.
controllers.
Yeah, that's true.
I grew up on the first 3 Mega Man games.
The trigger being
Yeah, the dash being the trigger. No, put it
Nah.
on the circle. Put it on the what's the right one on the Xbox? Because it goes
Right one is B.
B. Put it on the B for Xbox. Put it on the fucking A for Nintendo, and leave it. That
I
works.
love-
Who the fuck uses the trigger? But that's not
loved,
ergonomic.
I loved the thing I seen ages ago, which was why I have trouble with fast-paced. What are those reaction cinema when you're watching
QuickTime events.
Time events, yes.
It says press X, and it's got the photo of the 5 different controllers.
I know.
And X is bottom of the PlayStation. It's the left on the thing. It's the top of the,
On the Wii U.
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Oh my god.
I don't know what the fuck I'm pressing.
See, that's why God of War
Cross-console
3.
gamers.
This is why God of War 3 did it right. Because what it did for the QuickTime events, I mean, yes, triangle, X, square, circle, but it put the button in the location of the screen. So
Yes,
it doesn't
I agree.
block it. So if it's a
You know
circle,
what?
you know it's on the right. If
You
it
know
pops
what
up, you go,
I-
oh shit.
You know what I miss doing? Finishing a boss and watching the movie without having to be like this and ignoring what they're saying because it's going to be a QuickTime event.
I remember.
I blame Resident
You know
Evil
the
4 for
first
that.
time I watched the defeat of Zeus
Yeah.
in 3 was when Ampho played it. I didn't get to see it when I played it.
I will raise you one that's worse.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh yeah, 4 hours of sitting like this.
No.
my God.
There weren't really QuickTime events, but there was one section on Shadow Moses Island, which I, as a fan, loved because it was a great throwback. But Tiff will attest to this. There's a fight where you are playing as Old Snake, and you've got a fucking rail cannon taking
I know what
out
this is.
all the Metal Gears.
That's
or-
half of one screen.
and the other half of the screen is a fucking cutscene where Raiden is going. So it's like
Raiden's trying to kill.
Raiden is trying to kill
Vamp.
Vamp on the one side of the screen. On the other side of the screen, you're trying to focus, and it's like, what do I fucking focus on? It's like, I want to see this cutscene because it looks amazing, but I don't want to get blown up because if you get blown up, you have to do the whole thing again. Bullshit. So for me, I loved it because when I got to watch her play it, I could watch the whole fucking cutscene.
Little shit.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's how I had.
That,
on.
that was frustrating.
I just thought of
So
something.
that's worse than
When-
what you're talking
when
about.
I
It's
gave
infinitely
when
worse.
I
They've also played the dick joke, where because it was a joke made by dicks, where at the end of a 2.5 hour cutscene there was a QuickTime event.
When was this?
In the fucking ending for Metal Gear Solid 4, you put the controller down because it's a long ass talk and then there's a QuickTime event. It doesn't do much, but it's like his sip of his coffee or something. But
Yeah.
it's still like it's
I
still
never
holy
knew that.
shit.
I
Yeah.
never knew that. See, because I know that in-
Everybody in their right mind puts that controller down.
I know. I admit, I did the same thing. Especially since Metal Gear Solid 4 has 5 ending cutscenes. 5.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's got credits in between cutscenes.
I was trying to get him out of my house because I wanted to go to bed, and it was 11:30 at night, and
Yeah.
he's like, "I finished the game. I just need to watch the end cutscene." I went to bed at 1:30. He was
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah,
I was still there,
I
yeah.
know.
Remember that guy I told you about that saw the credits roll from Metal Gear Solid 4 and goes, good, now I can go take my solid dump.
Oh, he went to the toilet to take a shit. That's right, and he missed out on the rest of the cutscenes after the credits, so he had to redo the whole thing, the whole end boss. I'm like, oh my
Have
god.
you not heard of YouTube?
Still, I know
Yeah.
how frustrating it is. You want to
Alright.
be and watch it.
We got to wrap this up. But before we do, I want to give you a bit of food for thought. When I gave Mighty Number 9 a solid 4,
Solid man.
and when I said it was just disappointing, did you get triggered?
Fuck no.
You got triggered.
I don't give a shit.
You're like ah.
No. My point that I'm trying to say is, I mean, a lot of people don't do this, and this is one thing that irks me about game sites using a 1 to 10 score.
Yep.
5 is the middle ground. 5 is meant to be the middle ground where it's like, this is anything below 5 starts to break. You know, 1 is an absolute fucking irredeemable mess.
Yeah.
5, I would say 4 means that there is actually something broken with the game. Mechanically with the game, I did not find a problem with it.
Now 1, 2 is game actually broken. I'd say 4 just not enjoyable.
No, that's the thing. Not enjoyable is probably around a 5 to a 6. You know,
But then to me, 6, 7 is it was okay.
7
8,
I think
9
is okay.
it was good.
Good, and
10
10
is
is-
it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I've seen things on fucking IGN saying 9 out of 10. It was okay.
I
What the fuck?
see. This is why any
8
time
out
a
of
game,
10. It was severely broken.
Yeah, this is why every time I see someone give something a 7 out of 10, I automatically go, oh, it's not that bad. But then they go, yeah, but I couldn't stand blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but a 7 means that it's above average. A 5, I think a 5
Well,
is where
it could
you
be
start
just
to
a
draw the
simple
line.
case of I couldn't stand this part, but it didn't ruin the game for me. Or like, you know what?
That's how
7
I
and 8
felt.
to me.
Yeah. If you're like, well, one particular part ruined me, and then, but after that, it's short.
For me,
I get to enjoy the rest of the game.
For me personally, where I draw the line with a 4 is if something breaks, if the physics break, if the animations break, if anything like that breaks,
what
it's a
gets
3 to a
2
4.
for you?
Pretty much.
Because
If
your 4 sounds like my 1.
Yeah.
No. Constant crashes. Constant crashes. You know what? Number 1. Big rigs over the road racing. That right fucking there sums up what I think a 1 is. Because there is nothing. The game from scratch was designed to be shit. You can race over anything. You clip through everything. See,
I remember driving into a bridge.
And
like,
you
"Alright,
went
I gotta
through
go."
the bridge.
And I went under the bridge and then popped out underneath the bridge.
See, that's a 1. For me, a 4, don't get me wrong, for me, a 4 is not the game breaks at every level, but every now and then something doesn't work.
So all Bethesda games are a 4 for you.
Well, that's because it's
Wow.
more of a feature. Is this
And-
a bug or a feature?
And
Yes.
with that, we'll end it. All right. So this is podcast 8?
7.
7.
26.
All right. Cool.
11:5.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
in wrap up, social media
Sorry.
sucks. There's good and bad things to it. Don't hate on Mighty Number 9 that much. It's not great, but it could be.
Yeah.
It could be Assassin's Creed Unity.
And listen to Low Roar,
Yeah.
I'll Keep Coming. Social justice warriors, please don't
Hate us.
hate us. Actually, nah.
us.
Go for it. I don't care.
Don't
what
like
you
us.
think.
I don't want you to like
I
us.
really did.
Let's
I
be
could
honest.
not care less
I don't
of
hate.
someone's-
I don't hate on people. I just want to say what I want to say. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I hate on people.
And this is just purely opinion. We're not trying to change anyone's opinion when it comes to this. This
We're
is
just
ours.
we're just
Everyone's
stating
got
what
their
we
own
think.
thing.
People may agree with us. People may disagree.
To social justice warriors.
No.
You know it's pointless, right?
Yeah.
I'll
I think
give
it's
you.
got a
I'll
point.
give you
I think
the.
Lou's got
I'll
a
give
point.
you-
Yeah, that's true.
Wait.
I guess it's
I'll
like
give those social justice warriors the only explanation you need. It's not racist and it's not sexist if it's equally distributed, and I fucking hate everybody.
yes.
I agree with that.
I hate the men as much as I hate the women, and I hate the blacks, the whites, the Asians, and the Jews that can be black, white, or Asian. I hate them all.
Should be black water. All right, and with that,
Some strong words from Aaron there, and on that, I think we should leave before he incriminates us further.
get some fertilizer in you. All right, let's go. See ya.
See ya.